Hi everyone, just a quick Friday Spry play. I'm just going to run through some equipment image stuff. So by default, if you're not familiar, obviously you've got some options in terms of dig and dump images. If you want to, if you hit the little ellipsis here, you can bring in your own images. And what we're going to do today, so you can bring in any image that you like. Some of them look good at a small resolution, some of them don't. But what I'm going to run you through here is the option of, I'm just going to pull in a random one for you so you can have a look at it. But yeah, you can pull in any icon you like. It comes through with whatever detail that you've got on it. And you can make those yourself. You can create a whole bunch of them, but I'm going to give you something today which hopefully makes things a little bit easier. So in the description below, you can download a link to this script. But I've created a little script that sort of automatically generates a bunch of icons. So I'm going to pull it in, import the script, click accept, and then hit refresh. Actually, that automatically refreshes. And what you get is this little utility, and if you double click on this, you're going to get something. But right now, I'm not going to run it yet because I'm just going to show you what the options are and what you would want to change in it. So user variables, the things that you're going to want to touch are going to live in this section. And these relate to, firstly, probably one you don't care too much about, which is how big the images end up. They'll end up as big as you have them on screen. So the higher the resolution here, the more detail you'll have it up for a high resolution screen. But primarily more is the things that primary things you're going to want to control are what text come through and what colors come through. So by default, there's a few different texts in here. You just need to make sure that they go comma, 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 all the way to the end. It doesn't hurt if you have a bonus comma like I do in this one. But any text that you put in here is going to form part of an icon. And any colors that you put in here are going to form additional icons. Now, I'm going to run the script, and then I'm going to show you what it does so you can appreciate or understand what it's going to do before you change the settings. So if I double click on generate equipment images, you'll get a little pop-up asking you where you want to put them. So I've just pre-created a folder here, but if you need to create a new one, you can create new folders from in here. Click OK, and then what will happen, just need to grab it from the other screen, is that this script will generate a series of icons based on the colors, the texts, and any existing images that you had in there. So you'll see that I've got these one that I created here. I'll get circles, squares, and triangles across all of the colors that I create. And that comes from the various settings. So if you don't want to create squares and triangles and you just want circles, you can choose to delete them, or you can just delete them once they've been created. The trickiest thing to work out is if you've got particular colors that you want to use. Is knowing how to add colors to this system. So I've just grabbed some colors from a color palette website. You can go to websites like Color Lovers, which is a good one that I like to use. I'll pull that one up over here. And the information that I'm using for this comes from, if I pick a palette up, like probably a palette with a little bit more color variation in it. So maybe this one. So the information that I'm using to generate, and the easiest information to use if you're not familiar with color palettes, is this, what's called the Hex Key. And so if we look at, I'll just drag that over here. If we look at the hex keys for these, if I take that hex, paste it in there. Now if you just want to put in red, green, blue, etc., there's also some code in here that sort of shows you how you can just use the inbuilt colors, which is down the bottom here. So if you go color dot and you change this to say pink, it's going to give you the inbuilt class of pink color. But for the moment, I'm going to get rid of those. So I'm going to run these 5 colors on the right. I'm going to run a more limited selection of text. And there's nothing else that you should need to touch in this. If it's not doing something you want it to do, you can ask us to have a quick look at it. Although scripting's not technically supported, it's, you know, if it takes us 10 seconds to help you out with something, it doesn't hurt. But if you can yeah, so we get this running, we make those changes, we run the script, pick a new folder. We'll get out of there, we'll go back into here, images, create a new one, hit run, and what we get out of that is a different color palette again. So yeah, that's pretty much it. It can be helpful on screen to be able to differentiate things not only by their class of equipment, but also some kind of coloring. Create as many of them as you want. You don't have to use them all to pull them actually back into your model. The final thing you need to do is pop over to the ellipsis, grab those images that you created, and pick the ones that you want to keep. So we want to keep these articulate, and then you can select them. So they're now going to form part of your drop-down options. So yeah, there's only one other thing that you may have noticed if you're watching this video closely, which is that I've set a background setting that I only just remembered that we've been testing for a little while for a compressed view. So one of the more interesting things that sort of snuck its way in, on the left-hand side is the normal view. On the right-hand side is the compressed view, or the slim view, I think it's called. So in the background settings, if you want to run at the reduced, I think it's called layout. Yeah, it's called compact, sorry. So the UI skin that I'm using here is now called compact, and it just gives you a little bit more space. If you press, oftentimes you're playing around with the view to give yourself more room to work with. So that'll give you a bit more space. So I hope that was helpful. Have a Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, and we'll see you. I'll be here next Friday. So we're closed over Christmas and Boxing Day, but otherwise support is here, support@precisionmining.com and 3539 0000. Thanks.